In case you missed it, your host Kayla Blakesley is at it again. What did she say this time? Tune in to find out right now.
Man, oh man, it has been such a busy week in Washington. To get you up to speed, House Republicans narrowly approved a budget resolution that begins the reconciliation process for a package that includes funding for national defense, support for farmers, and really a lot of other, election-related priorities. One of those priorities being the SAVE Act. As you know, this is legislation requiring proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. So really a lot to unpack here this morning with Congressman Stutzman as he joins us live right now. Good morning, Congressman.
Hey, Kayla. Great to be with you on Webbo this morning.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here to kind of pick through this with this reconciliation package, because I always think there's a lot of confusion with this. The House passed a budget resolution, not the final bill, right? Can you explain what actually passed and why it's so important?
Yes. Okay, so we go back to those Senate rules that we keep running into issues with. Two ways of passing a bill through the Senate. You can either get around the filibuster, or the senators can not filibuster, and a bill can pass, which that's been a problem for anything that Republicans have been, trying to push through the Senate. You need 60 votes rather than just 51. Once you get past the filibuster rule, you only need 51. Well, Republicans only have 53 senators right now, and so we're not getting any help from Democrats. They want to see a government shutdown. They want chaos going into the November election. They think that's what's going to help them win the election, because it worked for them last year when they shut the government down in Virginia and New Jersey. So we are moving quicker than normal to keep the government open after October 1st, because the fiscal year ends September 30th. But then there's also the reconciliation process, which is a budgetary process, and that only requires 51 votes as well in the Senate. It doesn't stand against the filibuster rule. So that's why we're going with a reconciliation package. You can use two each year, according to the rule process. And so this is our first one for this year. There'd be another one available after October 1st, which we're going to utilize. So that's a two-step plan. And we have military funding in this first one that's around $60 billion for forward-looking equipment, drones, and shipbuilding. Kayla, is where we're really behind when it comes to military equipment. We're strong on our planes. We obviously have great battleships, and we've got tons of equipment, but the technology is aging, and we haven't been building ships. And so that's one of the spaces that President Trump wants to focus on, to be sure that we're well equipped for the next 3 decades, because a lot of the equipment that we're using today came from the Reagan era, Ronald Reagan era. So our equipment is aging. So that's why we have this additional funding in there, plus to support agriculture with the tariff volatility, to support ag, and then also the Save America Act. We believe this is a really strong package that the senators will say, okay, we can get behind that. So we'll find out. We passed it out of the House yesterday. Now it's on to the Senate, and we're going to watch and see.
Yeah, when it comes to the Save America Act, supporters say it's all about protecting election integrity. Critics argue that it could make voter registration more challenging for some eligible Americans. How do you respond to those critics, Congressman?
I just say, look at Indiana. We've been doing this since 2006, and without any problem. In fact, it's been upheld by the Supreme Court. We try to keep it. That's what I like. I had a guy come into the office yesterday, and I have a sign in my foyer that says, "Bring back common sense." And I get so many great comments on that. And that's all we're looking for, is just some common sense. And but in Indiana, what we did is we're required to have a photo ID to vote. But if somehow somebody is left out, they don't have their photo ID, you can do a provisional ballot. There's options for that, or you can go down to the BMV, and we keep the BMV open on Election Day, the same hours that the ballot boxes are open, the voting voting centers are open. So you can get a photo ID from the BMV. We make sure there's multiple steps to get the photo ID. We don't want anybody left out. That's what, of course, what Democrats are saying, that we're going to suppress the vote. And, since 2006, 2008, we've had photo ID laws that would already comply. The Save America Act would do very little for Indiana because we already do it. But it's like California. And you know what we just found out up in New Jersey was that 6,600 illegals had registered to vote. And the state did that. And so, this is where, they say, oh, illegals aren't voting. We're finding out that actually the Democrat governments are registering them to vote without even their knowledge. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, it's a Democrat governor in New Jersey that actually exposed it. And so somebody's playing games behind the scenes, and we want to be sure that our electoral process is honest, open, transparent, because if we as the people don't trust the electoral process, the system starts to break down.
Yeah, New Jersey's new governor just said that quiet part out loud, Congressman. I was here for it. Admitted that New Jersey accidentally registered over 6,000 non-citizens in Jersey to vote. So, the proof is right there in the pudding. Let's say the Save America Act doesn't survive the Senate's reconciliation rules. Are Republicans prepared to try and pursue it separately?
Well, that's a great question. I know House Republicans are. We passed it. In fact, we passed the Save America Act twice yesterday.
Yes.
We passed it. We put it in with the reconciliation package to give the Senate the option of passing it with a funding mechanism. And we also put it in the Stop Insider Trading Act and sent that to the Senate as well. That actually got Democrat support. I think there was about 10 or 12, there may somewhere in there, Democrats that actually voted to stop insider trading. All Republicans voted for it, and along with the SAVE Act. So we're hoping that one of those two, looks attractive enough to a couple of senators that say, hey, yeah, we like that package, we'll vote for that. But we have 4 Republican senators that have been very difficult on this. Senator Tillis from North Carolina, McConnell from Kentucky, both of them are retiring. Murkowski from Alaska and Collins from Maine. Those 4 are the ones that we need help with, and it seems like they're more interested in another agenda. That's what I don't understand. Mm-hmm. They simply don't make a good argument on why we shouldn't have election integrity bills, passing the Senate. And so here we sit. We're stuck, and we know that there's problems going on. Not in most states, but in a few states, and California is the worst culprit. That's where we lose House seats because they count illegals in the census, and that gives them probably a 4 to 5 seat advantage. And of course, they do mail-in ballots, and they're just ripe with fraud.
So then really quick, before I let you go here, Congressman, how optimistic are you that this package, as it stands, reaches President Trump's desk?
I'm going to say 50-50, and that's probably being optimistic because I sense that there's some of these Democrats or some of our Republican senators, they're mad at President Trump, and they're making it about something personal rather than about what's good for our country. And I hope maybe that's where one morning they wake up and say, hey, for the good of the country, I'm going to vote for this to be sure that our elections are transparent and safe. And so that's my prediction. I wish I could be more optimistic, though.
Yeah. Hey, it's KB. As a show of appreciation for listening, use my promo code WOWO for deep discounts on all kinds of products at MyPillow.com. That's promo code WOWO.
Podcasts by Federated Media.